Here we're 9.5, and here we're looking to see if does the graph represent a linear function. Keep in mind that linear, the word linear has the word line in it, L-I-N-E-A-R. So line, this is not a line, it curves. So no, this would not be linear, okay? Now let's take a look at these. Here it asks us to see if this is linear. All right, and then explain. Okay, so let's take a look. We're going to create our own little graph here. Try our best by using this graph. We're going to say 1, 1. Here's 1, 1. And then we're going to say 4, 2. Here's 4, 2. And then we're going to say 9, 3. Here is 9, 3. Then it just says 4, 16. So it's 9. We got 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and we're going to go up to 4, and 4 is going to be right about there, okay? So we notice that this is not quite a line, so it's no. Another way we can check that is check the comparison between the two. This is 1, 1, 1. That's okay, great, even. But check between here, this is 3. Between here, that's 5. Between here, that's 7. So therefore, our answer is no. We do not have a consistent increment, the same. Doesn't have to be the same increment. It just has to be the same value here. Okay, so that is a no. Let's take a look here. Here it says graph each linear function, which graph is steeper, and explain. So this would be a graph, and this would be a graph. So you have 3/8 versus 5/8, okay? Now, because we're counting by eighths, all right, we want to use a value of x that is a multiple of 8. That will give us a whole number, okay? What do I mean by that? Well, let's take a look. If you have y is equal to 3/8, and then you have our x, let's go with 8. If x is 8, that would be 8 over 1, right? That would cross that out, and our value y would be equal to 3. And that's what I mean by a multiple of 8, okay? So let's try our next one. Y is equal to 3/8. Let's go with 16. All right, when we cross this out, that would make it 2 over here. This would be 1, so that y would be equal to 6. And we're just going to do one more. Okay, let's make the next one a 24. So y is equal to 3 over x is 24. That's going to make that 1. That's going to make that 3. And so y is equal to 9. Okay? So then for this first one, our table or our coordinates look like this. When x is 3, when x is 8, y is 3. And here, when x is 16, y is 6. And here, when x is 24, y is 9. Okay? Let's try the same value over here with 5x. When 5x, 8, and x is 8, cross that out, we have a 5, okay? So that equals 5. All right, 5/8, when we have 16, now these are 2, x is 10. And then we have 5/8 when we have 24. And that's 3, x is 15. Okay, so 5, 10, and 15. So we're going to write those coordinates here. 8, 5, 16, 10, and then 24, 15. Okay? Now, because our x is counted by 8, so I'm going to change this. I'm going to make this 8. I'm going to make this 16. I'm going to make this 24. Okay? All right. And then let's take a look. When x is 8 for the first one, we get a 3. When it is 16, we get a 6. And when it is 24, we get a 9. That's our first one. Okay. Voila. Okay. So this one is our 3/8 x. Okay. Let's look at our next one. When 8, we get a, uh-oh. I should have saved my enthusiasm. Okay. It's blocking my graph here. Okay. 8, we get a 5. 16, we get a 10. 10 is up here. And then 24, we get a 15. So it's like 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So it puts it right about here. So the question is, I'm kind of off a little bit, but you get the gist of it. It asks which is steeper, and in a case like this, our steeper graph, that means which one stands up a little straighter than the other. In this case, it would be this one, our 5/8. Okay? All righty then. That is the end of that particular homework. Let's take a look at the why some functions why are some functions called linear functions, okay? And we already established that word linear refers to a line, okay? So now, let's move forward to the actual assignment, briefing. A function whose graph is a straight line is linear, okay? So when we look at this versus this is linear, this is not, okay? It's not a straight line, this is a straight line, all right? When we look here, it says, does the input-output represent a function, and explain. Here, it curves, okay? So therefore, it does not represent a straight line. It says the ordered pairs in the table are 0, 0, 1, 1, 4, 2, and 9, 3. Plot the ordered pairs and draw a graph through the points, okay? The graph is not straight lines, so the graph is not linear. Also, remember I showed you from here to here is 1. From here to here is 1. From here to here is 1. From here to here is 1, but from here to here is plus 3, and from here to here is plus 5. So therefore, we don't have the same number here when we take the difference, and we don't have the same number here. These two don't have to be the same, but the distance between each of these would need to be the same on its respective side, okay? So let's take a look down here. Does a graph table represent a linear function? On your own, you should be able to identify or work through that to determine if it represents a linear function, and we will discuss that in our conference, okay? Let's look further on our identification here. All right, identifying a linear function is a function relating the diagram number x to the number of dots y. Okay, so first we have 1 dot, we get 1. All right, for our first diagram. In our second diagram, we get 3. And in our third diagram, we get 6. And in our fourth diagram, we have 10. All right, and so therefore, when we plot those coordinates, 1, 1, 2, 3, 3, 6, and 4, 10, this is what we get. And we see this little flip it in here, lets us know that it is not linear, okay? Now, let's take a look at here, comparing linears, okay? Your sister earns $10 an hour, your brother earns $7 an hour. This is the $10 an hour. This is the $7 an hour, okay? The function M10H and M7H shows a relationship between the numbers of hours they work and the money they earn. Which graph is steeper? Steeper meaning taller, straight up, okay? This one lays a little more, this stands up a little more. And so therefore, the graph of 10H is steeper, okay? The reason it is steeper is that your sister's hour rate is greater than your brother's hourly rate, okay? And so that's how we make that determination. And here, we will discuss in our conference these on your own questions. Give them a try, okay, along with the homework assignment, and then we'll discuss it later. As far as your assignment is concerned, okay, here you're on page 396. We start with number 4, okay, and you're going to conclude with number 16 on the previous page, on the next page, okay? So you start with 4, okay, and then you're going to go through to 16, all right? All right, okay? That concludes